Welcome to our weekly roundup of what's moving the equities market. Today we're going to be focusing on the latest batch of sector PMIs which are just released here, and we're focusing on obviously the February numbers. And if we look at the individual sector groups, we're seeing pretty broad-based growth across all 8 sector groups, indicating a growth in output in February from the previous month. So definitely positive numbers here. Now we're seeing consumer-focused shares, consumer-focused companies really set to grow their output the most in February from the previous month, which is quite a bullish sign if we're seeing that obviously consumer sentiment is picking up, and so obviously these companies are seeing a pickup in trade. So definitely some positive news for the global economy. Now, metals and mining were the only were the ones seeing the biggest change or the biggest fall in indicated growth from the January's level. So again, if we dig down a bit deeper into the basic material sector, that was pretty much entirely driven by metals and mining companies, which indicated that they wouldn't be growing as much as they would in January. Now, looking at the company seeing the sector seeing the biggest indicated growth in output and also the biggest change in output from January's level, we've seen construction materials. So that's a pretty broad-based sector, but obviously it bodes well for the kind of the like of cement companies and companies that provide timber and so on and so forth. So it shows that obviously as the economy picks up steam, then these companies are a bit further down in the business cycle, but they're seeing a pickup in growth as well, which is quite encouraging. Now moving on to the investor sentiment to see how investors are positioning themselves in that sector. Now we've seen that short sales had been covering pretty significantly across construction materials company. However, we've seen a little pickup. It's about 30% higher than the lows in the beginning of January. Now, what's really driving that sentiment? Again, it's China. And we've seen companies that have big exposure to China become the target of short sellers in that space. So we've got Anhui Conch Cement over in Hong Kong, has seen short interest double year to date, and it's over 2.5 times as shorted as the second most shorted company in that sector. So definitely one to watch as the China growth situation kind of continues to evolve. Now another interesting thing we've seen is the only sector indicating flat growth over in February, and that was the beverages sector. Now again, if we look at investor sentiment in that name, we've seen 2 French companies, Pernod Ricard and Rémy Cointreau, that have seen pretty heavy short interest over the last few months. And again, they've attributed their lackluster results and the fact that obviously short sellers are attuned to that, and they've attributed that to the fact that their China unit is not performing as well as they were expecting it to be. And that's kind of as there's been a bit of an austerity driving the country, and again, that's driving investor sentiment. So definitely want to watch out for this week and the coming weeks. So thank you very much, and have a nice week.